her kids.
You can hear it or something?
Oh, yes, she stays up over me.
How old are the children?
Right now, I believe they're 8 and 10, but I've been there for 3 years, so you go back.
Okay.
And she beats them for 30 to 45 minutes at a time. I even have statements of people that visited me and people that be outside.
Well, I used to get some whippings, but they never lasted that long.
Beatings.
I don't beat
Okay,
them.
They didn't run under the bed?
I didn't beat them.
So I used to run under the bed. My mother used to take the broom and poke me under the bed.
Exactly, and the same thing happened.
You do the same thing?
And the same thing happened with me, and the same thing happened with my
plastic
son.
objects over her kids. I have a witness here, which is her cousin, that lived with her up until this Friday, that can testify
Come on
to
up,
that.
ma'am. State your name.
Lauren Doyle.
And you're a witness to her beating her children for up to 30 to 45
Yes.
minutes?
And not only that, making them get in the shower, get wet, and continue to whip them.
That is a lie.
With a belt while they're wet.
While they're wet.
8 and 10 years old.
Well,
That is
maybe
a
it's the one
lie.
that's 10 years
That's why
old.
he said that.
Most
That is
my
a
mother
lie.
did maybe go get that switch.
So
That is a
children's
lie.
services
What's
in
a
her
switch?
house.
Switch? You must have been a good kid all your life?
I never heard of that one.
Oh,
A
okay.
switch.
I'm glad my parents said no about it.
Yeah, you should be glad they didn't.
Go out and break your
They go
own
out-
switch.
You go out and some parents send you outside to get your own switch. It's a little picture, the thin part of the tree, or a rose bush. Thin part of the rose bush. You go break a rose bush off, you bring it in, hand it to mama, she tear you up with that rose bush. Terrible. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Anyone know what I'm talking about? That switch? All right.
Anyway, Judge, Children's Services has been to her house at least 7 to 10 times that
Because
I
she
know
called
of.
them.
I never called Children's Services on it
Let
because
me allow her to answer what the witness says. The witness says she was right there.
I do with my children. I'm not going to say that I
she
don't.
beats her children, Judge, 30,
Right.
45.
Thank you. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and her grades are not exactly where they're supposed to be. And she does so. So yes, I do
Whoop
with my.
for bad grades?
I got looked for bad grades.
Well, that
You were
means it's the
supposed
right thing to happen.
10 to 15 minutes,
How do
20
you
minutes,
whoop
all
them?
of that.
How do you
I
whoop
whoop them with a belt or with my hand.
I'm asking
What
this
is-
for a reason. Did you ever get whooped with a belt?
No.
Any white folks ever been whooped with a belt? Okay. Because there's a disproportionate number of black folks that whoop their children. And psychologists and sociologists suggest that that's why there's a disproportionate amount of violence in the inner cities. Because it's a learned behavior. If you think that you can resolve problems with your children with violence, whooping, then they grow and subconsciously or otherwise believe that problems should be solved in a violent manner.
Well, we tried talking.
Hold on, let me give this lesson.
Okay.
So maybe you'll understand why whooping is prohibited in many areas and against the law in many states, period. And they will call Child Protective Services. And the reason I ask about the racial issue, because some sociologists have said that during slavery, the slave master whooped the slaves with a belt or with a whip, and that legacy continued, so that African Americans continued throughout the generations to whoop their kids with a belt. Now, sounds like some of the white folks was hanging around and saw that and said, that's a good way to deal with my kids when you all that were there. Don't know if that's the truth. These are sociologists. I'm not a sociologist, but I'm just saying that in the African American communities there's a disproportionate amount of violence that occurs. Now some say it's because you're angry, and I guess if you face discrimination and poverty every day, you would be angry. I'd be mad too, want to fight somebody. But even though I used to get whooped, I don't believe it's the right way to correct behavior, because I do believe that it perpetuates the belief that violence is a way of resolving disputes.
I like to state this also.
Yes.
Keisha came from an abusive background herself. Her mother used to beat her.
Yeah.
So
Whatever happened to time out?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now-
Time out, man.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
She came to my door and said that her daughter had to go to work in the morning. Her son was crying, and I needed to wait till earlier in the day to whoop my child. Is what she said. Is what she said. And I told her.